Hey guys, Matt here at Happy TV, and today we are here at the Electrify Expo in Long Beach. We're going to be trying out some e-bikes and electric scooters and that sort of stuff, so enjoy. The very first bike I test rode is the DelFast Top 3.0i. It's a 5,000 watt, 72 volt, 47 amp hour e-bike, and it has 182 Newton meters of torque. To put that into perspective, the maximum legal power output for an e-bike is 750 watts, so this exceeds that by multiple times.
Hi.
Hello.
Bike has a throttle mod.
Okay.
Don't forget use the brakes.
Yep. DelFast. Try throttle only. It's really quiet. Wow. Surprisingly quiet. Try a little bit of pedaling. I should also mention there are two modes for this e-bike. So there is a speed mode 1 where you can keep it legal. On my first lap I was in speed mode 1, and then the second lap it put me in the unlimited mode. It's really smooth. There are pedals on this bike, but there are no gears. Supposedly this bike can go 50 miles per hour and it has a range of 200 miles. Definitely has a very motorcycle feel to it. And the brakes are really pretty good. Give it a little bit of full throttle. On my first lap, I was in the speed mode 1, which is a 750 watt output and limited to 28 miles per hour. It handles really nicely, you can tell it's got some weight to it. This isn't nearly as fast as my second lap. In just a few seconds on the second lap, you'll see he switches me into speed mode 2. Can I? Oh, that bumps it up now? All right, so he bumped it up to the next power level. We're on pretty low battery, really. It's like half battery. Oh yeah, it's got good pickup. And the suspension feels really nice on this bike, actually. Wow. This thing is really quiet. Cruising at 20 miles an hour, like no throttle. As far as pedaling goes, it seems kind of worthless to even try pedaling. The thing definitely has a lot of weight to it. I kind of doubt it weighs 260 pounds though.
265 pounds.
Oh, okay. This weighs 265 pounds?
265.
Oh wow, that's pretty heavy. But acceleration is not excellent, but I'll do wide open throttle here. Full throttle. The steering is slow. This thing is like a motorcycle. Wow. For comparison, here's a clip of my Sur Ron accelerating. The Sur Ron is actually less expensive than the DelFast. Also, the Sur Ron is a mid-drive motor. I have more videos on this bike coming soon. The steering moves a little. It's not like super nimble. I'm gonna go one more lap here actually. Hit one more. Wow, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, the acceleration is a bit weak, but it picks up speed. The suspension is nice. All right, let's hit this one more time. Full throttle. Wow. Very, very smooth ride. This thing is pretty fun. So thoughts on the DelFast? You know, $7,000 about, give or take. One, it's really quiet, extremely quiet, and very smooth feeling power delivery. Acceleration is pretty weak, honestly. Now the battery was only like 50% or possibly a little bit less than 50%. And I don't know if it's like really tuned down, but it definitely picks up speed. It gets up to 20, 25 pretty easily. And the suspension is very smooth. And he says it weighs 260 pounds, which, I mean, that's really heavy compared to like the Sur Ron is like 110 pounds. You can definitely feel in the steering, it's slow to steer compared to the Sur Ron. Sur Ron is like much more nimble. quick responses, whereas like this kind of feels like you're on like an actual motorcycle. But the suspension I really like. The seat that comes on it is a bicycle seat, not very comfortable. I think that would get really uncomfortable very quickly. And the pedaling seems completely pointless. I mean, if the thing weighs that much, I mean, what kind of pedaling can you possibly do to have much input on a bike that weighs that much? Anyway, it's a pretty fun little toy, and I could definitely see it being a really fun thing to have in the garage. The next e-bike I tested was the Super73 RX Mojave Edition. Super73 is probably by far the most popular e-bike, and this particular one cost $3,700. What makes the RX unique is it has full suspension, so there's suspension on the back and the front. It's also a DC hub motor with a peak power output of 2,000 watts. And Super73 claims that this bike has a 40-mile range when you're going about 20 miles per hour. These 1,000 helmets suck. I hate them.
Cool, so you have your thumb throttle, rear brake, front brake. You're in pedal assist mode 4, so
Okay.
if you want to just pedal, it'll kick you up to speed.
Okay,
as well.
Awesome, perfect. So Super73 RX. Boy, this suspension is really set up tight. It almost doesn't even feel like it has suspension, to tell you the truth. I actually almost bought this bike at one time. Ugh. I have rode Super73s in the past, and I haven't really been particularly impressed by them, but I decided to give this one a go. So compared to the DelFast I just got off of, I mean, this thing, well, one, it feels a lot more nimble. This bike only weighs 80 pounds, which is about half the weight of the DelFast. And the top speed, you can tell, is very slow. I mean, obviously it's over here riding with the scooters. Definitely has much more of a bicycle feel to it. All right, let them get ahead a little bit. Thumb throttle, full assist. Very slow acceleration. Really short crank arms. Honestly, I really don't find this bike very impressive. These big tires might be a little bit overkill. They do handle nicely. And that rear suspension, I think, is just really tight though. It literally doesn't feel like the suspension's really doing much. I mean, considering the price versus performance, if you look at the Ride 1-Up Core 5, for example, the Core 5 costs about 1/3 the price. It has gears, and both the Super73 and the Core 5 have a top speed of 28 miles per hour. Also, the Core 5 weighs just 50 pounds, which is almost 50% less weight. And the pedals are actually much more usable on the Core 5. Brakes work good. Really good. Oh, yeah. Man, yeah, suspension's working a little bit, but nothing like the Sur Ron. There you go. Thank you.
There you go. Bring this over here.
Similar to the DelFast, the Super73 also has multiple riding modes, so this bike can be street legal when you put it in the proper mode. The final bike I tested was the ONYX RCR. This was probably my favorite of the three I tried. Depending on how you spec it out, it can cost anywhere from about $4,400 all the way up to about $5,800.
We got the throttle here, front brake, rear brake, rear braking gauges, regenerative braking.
Oh, okay.
So primarily use that.
Yeah.
Eco up to 20, normal is 40, and then 40 plus in sport. Send it.
So start out in normal mode here. One thing that I like about the ONYX bikes is they just look really pretty. The brakes are rubbing. This thing's got some pickup. Oh yeah, compared to that Super73, the ONYX, this thing really has a lot more pickup. Oh yeah, it's super quiet too. The seat's cushiony, so like the suspension isn't like the greatest, but like the seat kind of makes up for it. Very smooth ride. I like it. Let's test out the torque going up this hill. Oh yeah, I can climb hills good. Give it a little bit of juice here going up this hill. The peak torque is 193 Newton meters, and the rear hub motor can do 3,000 watts continuous or 5,400 watts peak. right, so all that was on the normal mode. I'm gonna go ahead and bump it on over to sport. The display is really nice actually. We're on about a half charge. Wow. Yeah, this thing's got good pickup. I really, really like this. This thing blows the Super73 RX away. No question about it. Right. Yeah, I like this ONYX. Let's give it a full throttle blast off. Wow. Straight up to 31. This thing feels like a motorcycle. Wow. And just like the other bikes, this one has a street legal mode as well, but you can take it to unlimited mode and then you can get 60 miles per hour on this thing. Wow. Climbs hills great. But if you take it easy on the throttle, ONYX does claim that you can get about 75 miles of range. So let's see how it handles these bumps up here. Some serious brake rotors on here. Full throttle, 10. 45, woo! Dang, straight up to 33 very quickly. Zoom, zoom. Wow. Brakes work really good brakes. I'm gonna take this thing for another lap, but starting from a standstill on this hill, I'm gonna go ahead and goose it off the line here. 15, 20. This is impressive. This is a fun toy. Sport mode, full throttle, let's go. No wheelies or anything. Wow. So I like that the ONYX is really quiet, and once you get it up to speed, it feels really smooth. But starting from a standstill, the ONYX is really just no comparison to the way the Sur Ron launches from zero. Out of the bikes I tested here, I think the ONYX is my favorite, followed by the DelFast. I'd have to put the Super73 at the bottom, and I still think that the Sur Ron is my favorite of the bunch. So if you're in the market for an e-bike, or more like a motorcycle in disguise, I hope this video has been valuable to you. If it has, give me a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.